Kiramai, today is the second session in this tutorial class, and in the first session we discussed about the cost concepts and especially the cost estimation. And there we could not discuss several activities in our previous chapter. So we'll before moving on to the today's topic, job costing related tutorials, I would like to take some time to discuss the activities that we could not discuss and our first tutorial session, right? So accordingly, we'll have a look at how to solve these activities quickly. Activity number 2.17. So I took this information to the Excel, right? So these are the information, and let's have a look at the requirements. So total maintenance cost and the machine hours for the past 10 weekly accounting periods uh, as follows. So accordingly, you are given 10 weekly 10 periods information, 10 weeks, and these are the actual information for the past periods. So you can see for when we employ 4 machine hours, when we operate our machines for 400 hours, we have incurred 960 maintenance costs. And in the second week, we have used 400 machine hours. We have operated for 240 machine hours, and we have incurred 880 rupees of maintenance cost. So accordingly, these are the actual information or actual observation for our past periods. Let's assume the management is now planning to um, prepare the budget for the 11th week. Using our past observations, we can predict our 11th week's maintenance cost. Let's assume we are planning to operate or operate machines for, let's say, 500 machine hours, or let's say, according to our, let's say it is 450 machine hours. So what would be the maintenance cost in the 11th week? What would be the maintenance cost? So this is what we want to estimate. For this purpose, based on our historical observation, we can develop a relationship between the machine hours operated and the resulting maintenance cost. So if you develop a relationship between this machine hours and maintenance cost, using that relationship, using that formula, or using this particular relationship, we can predict what would be the our future machine hour cost or maintenance cost, uh, provided you are going to operate for 450 machine hours. For this purpose, we can prepare a relationship, right? So using it is required, it is asked, estimate the regression equation using the graphical method. So Lama, you know how to plot this information in a graph. You can draw graphs. Vertical axis or y-axis can represent the maintenance cost, and x-axis can represent your machine hours or machine hours used. Then for each and every coordination, you can plot the diagram in this x and y axis. So let's see how it is done. Right, using Excel, you can easily done this particular task. You can do easily take this previous observations, go to insert, and go to charts, and this uh, scatter diagram. So I prefer this diagram, so I just click on this. Then you can see it's nicely plotted all the observations. You can now see there's a relationship based on our past experience, past observation. There's a relationship between the machine hours operated and the resulting maintenance cost. Right. So if you do this manually, if you plot all these coordinations in this diagram, you can manually draw the equation, this trend line, right? Reasonable line to common to all these coordinating points. So I'm doing. So this is the trend line. Right. Secondly, if you do this manually, you can link the extend this line like this. So using this graphs, you can develop your regression line formula. Right, you know how to develop the formula graphically. The y-axis intercept is your A, and the common formula, you know, we discussed last week. Common formula y equals A plus bx. Y is represented by x-axis intercepts, and x represents, sorry, b represents the slope of this line. You know how to compute, how to measure the slope of this line. Okay. So accordingly, if you actually do this with Excel, you can do this very easily. This I just draw manually. Delete this. Go to table. Then chart design. Go to add chart element. Go to trend line. Then trend line options. Let's draw the trend line. I take the linear trend line is here, and here you can see display the equation on chart. Display the equation on chart. So you can see trend line is automatically developed by the Excel, and the chart is given. Chart is given. Right. So it is what is the formula? You can see formula is y equals 2x plus 240. So this is the formula given by this Excel. So right, this is A accordingly 240, and Bx means 2x. So y represents maintenance cost, x represents the number of machine hours we are going to operate, and 2 represents the slope of this curve, and 240 is the fixed maintenance cost. Even if you are not going to operate your machine hours, there will be a maintenance cost, right? Secondly, you want to put this in the standard format to A is 250 plus bx. Bx is 2x, right? So we develop the regression line. But make sure in examination context, you are required to develop this manually plot these coordinations, and you need to develop this line that is reasonable line common to all these observing point. Okay. So accordingly, if you once you develop this formula, we can use this. We can use this for estimation purpose. Let's say we are planning our production for the week for the next period. Let's say 11th month or 11th year or 11th week or 11th quarter. Whatever here the information is given monthly basis. So accordingly, let's say we want to estimate our 11th month, 11th period cost. And according to our production plan, we are going to operate for, let's say, 200 or let's say 240 machine hours. According to the orders that we have already received, we are going to operate for 240 machine hours. Then we want to estimate. We want to estimate. This is the estimation. We want to estimate what could be the maintenance cost for the month, right? For the 11th month. So this is required to be estimated. Since we have developed our equation, that is y equal to 140 plus 2x. So you might be confused with this 150. I will make it 300. Let's say we are planning to operate for, let's say 400, 300 machine hours. You can take any machine hours here. And we want to estimate what would be our maintenance cost. Okay, what is the formula? Equal 240 is the fixed maintenance cost plus 2 times our number of x means our machine hours. Take this and enter. So this is our estimated. We can estimate our machine maintenance cost for the next period would be 840. So we can predict it would be 840. So you can see we can apply this regression line or these graphs to predict our future maintenance cost. Future maintenance cost. So that is about activity number 2.17. Right. Then our next activities, these are suggested answer, right? These are suggested answer. And you can see the same result we got. Then there's another way of estimating our cost, that is high-low method. So let's have a look at the activity number 2.18. So you are given monthly recordings, that means past observation, monthly recordings of outputs and maintenance costs for the past 12 months have been given or have been examined, and following information has been extracted here using up historical records, past records for the previous months. This is what we have got. You experience these observations. Estimate the variable cost and fixed cost using high-low method. Estimate the variable cost and fixed cost using high-low method. Under high-low method, we identify, right, based on the given observation, we identify cost at the total cost at the lowest operations level and highest operations level. Then we try to identify what is the fixed cost, what is the incremental cost, what is the incremental output, what is the incremental cost. Accordingly, what is the variable cost, then what is the fixed cost. So we'll have a look at how to tackle these activities. So I have taken this information to this Excel sheet. Right, you want to now identify, right, lowest output and lowest cost, and the highest output and highest cost. Right, so you know with Excel you can easily do this. Let's take the lowest output, go to conditional formatting, go to top bottom rules. Let's take the highest output level is 10,000, or you can write, you can just check and identify what is the highest output level. Then the lowest one, again you can select, go to conditional formatting, top bottom rules, bottom 10, then I will take the lowest one. So these are our highest value and lowest output, highest output level and lowest output. Then corresponding cost, this is our cost at lowest output level, and this is the cost at our highest output level. Right. Now we can extract this information. Forget about the other information. And the high-low method, we only consider these two figures. Take the output. Output level and the cost. Output level at 5,000 units, the cost is 22,000. Output level at 10,000, cost is 32,000. So what does it mean? So we can develop this relationship. When you increase, when the entity increase its output level from 5,000 to 10,000, that means the incremental increase in the output is how much? Incremental increase in the output is from 5,000 to 10,000, it is 5,000. So when you increase your output from 5,000 to 10,000, that's an incremental cost. Incremental cost is your total cost, or your maintenance cost has increased from 22,000 to 32,000. So accordingly, incremental cost is 10,000. When you increase your output from 5,000 to 10,000, your cost increase from 22 to 32. That means by 10,000. So what is the incremental cost per unit? Incremental cost or variable cost or marginal cost per unit is this 10,000 divided by 10,000 divided by 5,000. Okay, there's some formatting error. Undo. Okay, incremental cost per unit is 10,000 divided by 5,000. It is 2. Okay, then we can identify variable cost is 2 rupees. Variable cost is 2 rupees. So we have our original basic formula. Y equals A plus BX. A plus BX. So here A means we want to find out A, right? We want to find out A. We know B. B is the variable cost or marginal cost or the slope of our curve. It is 2. So accordingly, let's say we know for the cost of 32,000, we can take any of these figures. 32,000 equals A we don't know, plus B is 2 times at 32,000 output, that means X is 10,000. So we can develop this formula. We can substitute this information to the basic formula. So accordingly, what is the answer? 32,000 equals A plus 2 times 10,000 is 20,000. So accordingly, A is equal ke formula kita nanti apply කරමු ඒක තමයි 32,000 equal A plus 20,000. So accordingly, A is equal 32,000 minus 20,000. A is equal 32,000 minus 20,000. So accordingly, A is 12,000. What is A? A is our fixed cost. So accordingly, we can develop the formula. Y equals A is 12,000 plus here the B is 2. B is 2 and X. So this is the formula for our cost equation. This cost equation will not give you the exactly correct estimation, but this would give you a reasonable estimation based on the previous observation, right? Secondly, this kind of activities or the questions are very common and popular in most of the cost and management accounting related exams, MCQ exams, right? So simply, when your output level increase from 5,000 to 10,000, the difference or incremental change in your total cost represents your variable cost, right? So according, that's what we did. Your output level increase from 5,000 to 10,000. So incremental unit is 5,000. And the incremental cost is the difference between the total cost 10,000. So it is variable cost per unit is 2. Then you, by substituting these two to your original formula, you can identify the fixed cost. But be careful. Sometimes when you increase your output level from 5,000 to 10,000, right? There's a total cost change is 12,000, 10,000, but sometimes scenario might explain when the output level increase 800 level or 800 output in 800 capacity level, company will have to incur additional fixed cost or incremental fixed cost of let's say 5,000 or let's say 2,000. Got the point? Sometimes we have seen some questions develop saying that when the output level increase from 5,000 to 10,000, company certain capacity level exceeds. As a result, incremental fixed cost of let's say 2,000 incur. Right? It is not relevant for our scenario, right? Let's say additional information is given like this. When the output level exceeds 8,000 units, additional fixed cost of rupees 2,000 should be incurred. If you are given this additional information, right? When the output level, these are the given information. I forgot about this all information. Let's say in a small scenario, you are given this observation. At lowest output level, this is the cost. Highest output level, this is the cost. But it gives additional information. When the output level exceeds 8,000 units, additional fixed cost of 2,000 should be incurred. Then what happens? Then you need to be careful. We know, right? Output level has increased from 5,000 to 10,000. So incremental output is 5,000. Output level has increased by 5,000. Right? As a result, there's a change in total cost of 10,000. But this time, Lama, you cannot take the different 10,000 as a result of the variable cost. Right? So total incremental cost is 10,000. From this, you need to identify, remove the fixed cost increase due to total cost increase due to incremental fixed cost. Means total cost change. Out of this total cost change, you need to eliminate this incremental fixed cost. Right? Then we can identify, let's say, incremental variable cost. Incremental variable cost is equal 10,000 minus 2,000. That is 8,000. Incremental cost of variable cost is 8,000. Then what is the variable cost per unit? Variable cost per unit. Variable cost per unit is accordingly equal, for 5,000 unit increase, total variable cost is 8,000. So 8,000 divided by 5,000, it is rupees 160, 1 rupees and 60 cents. Right? So accordingly, this kind of scenarios also may be possible sometime in certain countries, right? So, okay, that's about our activities. In addition, we have one more activities. I'm not going to explain, this is a descriptive one. Activity number 2.19, you are given this information and these are the requirements. I'm not going to discuss this part and I let you to have a look at the suggested answer. This is not the answer, but it's a suggested answer. Okay, right. So since the video is going to be uploaded, so this now. Right, we'll now move on to our today's session about job costing. So these are the information given with respect to the first activity. These are the information given with respect to the first activity. Right, you can have a look at the scenario given in your course manual and you can see this information is relevant for the first activity. So the scenario says the particular company has accepted an order to produce 600 t-shirts. 600 t-shirts produced කරන්න අපි order කරන් තිබෙනවා. ඒ order shirt එක agreed price එක 500 rupees. Then the per unit material requirement, එක t-shirt එකකට material requirement එක තියෙනවා 0.46 meters. Very small, could be for particular t-shirt, right? Not suitable for us. So according anyway, the material requirement is 0.46 meters. 1 meter of material costs 700 rupees and the normal loss is 5%. So what is meant by normal loss? Normal loss means, normal loss means the losses that are inherent to the manufacturing process. is common to all the manufacturers. It is inherent to the manufacturing process and it is inevitable even under efficient production or the efficient production setups. Right? If you have some sort of research and development and creative technology, if you can avoid this normal loss, you can be the cost leader and you can be the market leader, because all other people, while all other manufacturers, right, experiencing 5% unavoidable losses, right, by way of research and development, if you can increase or improve your production process so that you can normal losses can be avoided, you can win the right patent right for your production process. No others can copy that, so you can be the market leader, right? So normal loss means losses that are common to all the manufacturers in the industry, losses that are inherent to the production process, losses that are unavoidable, even if you are operating at your fullest efficiency level, right? So we'll now consider how to determine the manufacturing cost. Then further information is given, unused material. So this is special order. You are buying material at a cost of 700 rupees per meter. You are buying this raw material to deliver this particular special order. In case if you have unused material, sometimes company, this particular garment manufacturer may not be in a position to use those remaining material for its ordinary production process. Why? Let's say you are the one who gave this particular order to your manufacturer, right? To the manufacturer. Let's say as university student, you are going to celebrate certain events and you are going to design a t-shirt and make a t-shirt and to sell your among your colleagues and the university students. So your t-shirt is specifically designed for your requirement. The material is decided by you for your requirement. So accordingly, the material that you purchase, that the manufacturer purchased in delivering your order may not be used for other ordinary operations uh, in the manufacturer's plant. So accordingly, you need to sell whatever the remaining fabrics or remaining unused fabric, you need to dispose, you need to sell. You purchase 1 meter for 700, but when it comes to dispose the unused material, you will have to sell it for 600 rupees. That means each and every unused material will create a loss for your organization, 100 rupees. Because you purchase material for 700, if unused, you need to dispose for 600 rupees. Right. Then labor cost per t-shirt, 40 rupees. Packing cost per t-shirt, 5 rupees. Hours spent on manufacturing t-shirt is to be machine hours, right? Machine hours is spent, or machine hours or labor hours, whatever hours is spent per unit is 0.5 hours, and overhead absorption rate is rupees 120. We will now see how to prepare our job account. Actually, you don't need to, you are not required to prepare your job account in the form of traditional account, right? But we can still try this just for this example. We are not going to prepare account for rest of the parts, right? So accordingly, we can develop the traditional manufacturing account like this. Yeah, it is not suitable. I prefer to take this format. Right. So these are job account. Job account, right? Let's say a t-shirt job or whatever the name of the job you can put here. Okay. In this manufacturing account, in this job account, what we need to do, all the costs you incurred with respect to this particular jobs, this job account should be debited. So we'll take one by one. First, we'll take fabric cost or cost of fabric. Cost of fabric. Cost of fabric. So uh, now we need to identify the number, right? The fabric number of meters we use for delivering this particular t-shirt. It is said normal loss is 5%, and it is said per t-shirt you are required to use 0.46 meters of fabric. So accordingly, for 600 t-shirts, how many meters you needed? 600 meters, this much. So accordingly, you are required to use 276 meters of fabric must be consumed to produce this 600 t-shirts, while per t-shirt required material is 0.46. For 600 t-shirts accordingly, you are required to use or consume 276 meters. So accordingly, if you use just 276 material or fabric to your production process, out of these inputs, there's a normal loss, right? Let's say this is your input. This is your input. If you introduce this much of input, what happens? Then from the whatever the input, there's a normal loss. Normal loss. Normal loss is how much? Input times 0.05. So according this much of normal loss will be there. If you introduce, then what will be the raw material you will actually use for your manufacturing? The difference between this. So you will only use effectively this much of raw material for your manufacturing. This is wrong, right? If you use this much of material for your manufacturing process, how many t-shirts you can produce? These are raw material actually used for the production process subject to normal loss. This divided by 0.46. This divided by 0.46. You can only produce my 570 t-shirts. So that, right, you cannot introduce just 276 fabric to your production process, right? Because 276 fabric should be the fabric you should actually consume your production process after the normal loss. That means this should be equal to 95% after the normal loss. Accordingly, if after the normal loss is fabric is 276, before normal loss it should be this divided by 0.95, or this divided by 95 multiplied by 100. So it is approximately 291. Approximately 291. So then you must introduce to your manufacturing process not 276. You need to introduce 291. You introduce 291, right? Then your normal loss will be approximately 15. Your normal loss will be approximately 15. Then the raw material consumed for the production process, raw material or fabric included in the manufacturing, the outputs would be 276 raw material. Now you can see we can make 600 t-shirts. Accordingly, cost of fabric consumed is this much. Cost of fabric consumed should be 291 meters required at a rate of how much? What is fabric cost rate? 700 rupees per meter. This should be your answer. 291 meters of fabric times 700 rupees per unit per meter. So this is the cost of fabric. So what is the double entry for this? Job account debit, your raw material control account credit. Raw material control account credit. So I'll delete this. Right. So if you read the scenario, section says, in order to satisfy or to deliver this order, company is required to buy raw material from outside supplier. That information is not available here, right? If you read the scenario as appeared on the manual, it further says, in order to deliver this order, you need to buy the fabric from a supplier at 700 rupees per meter, but you need to buy the quantities in 100 meter multipliers. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි මේ එක fabric piece එක මීටර 100ක් තිබෙනවා. wholesaler දෙන්නේ නැහැ සීනි කිරනවා වගේ මීටර මැනලා. ගන්නවා නම් මීටර 100 මේ pieces වලින් ගන්නවා. මීටර 100 ඒවයින් ගන්නවා. ඒ අනුව අපිට අවශ්‍යයි 291. Right? We just need 291, even subject to normal loss, but can't be. You must buy 300 meters. You must buy 300 meters. Right? So accordingly, එකතර විතර දාමු. Quantity of fabric purchase. Quantity of fabric purchase must be how much? 300 meters. 300 meters. A scenario තියෙන ළමයි question එක, right? $300 meters. Okay. Then so if you buy this raw material, so what is double entry? Your supplier credit or your bank account credit and your raw material control account debit. ඔයාලගේ raw material control account එකක් තියෙනවා. raw material stock account එකට debit වෙනවා when you purchase this raw material. ඒතර raw material කොච්චර බෙලදී ගන්නවද? අපි රුපියල් 700 ගානේ. fabric meters 300ක් නෙදී ගන්න ඕන. supply condition එක ගන්නවා. You purchase raw material for this much. You purchase raw material for this much. This amount we don't need to worry as far as this job account is concerned, but you need to incur this much of cost. You need to credit bank account, or if you purchase on credit basis, supply credit or bank credit, and your raw material control account debit. Your raw material asset account, stock account debit. From that raw material account, we take this raw material. A raw material control account එක credit කරනවා මේ තරම් ප්‍රමාණයක්. ඒකෙන් අපි මෙතෙන් ඇදලා ගන්නවා as a cost 203,700 raw material. I think you got the point. We are not supposed to talk about the double entries. Only for this example, I prefer to explain how this account, right, figures are coming to this account. Okay. Then next cost element. Selling price not needed for this job account. Per unit requirement we considered. Price we have considered. Normal loss we considered. Then unused material selling price 600. That is nothing to do with the manufacturing account. That is nothing to do with the job cost account. because it is not right. Unused raw material is not relevant for the manufacturing process. It is a separate administrative activity. It's nothing to do with the raw material cost or the job cost account. So we don't consider this one. Direct labor, yes, direct labor is a manufacturing cost we consider. So direct labor cost per t-shirt is 14. So we can say direct labor, it is 40 rupees per unit, multiply how many units we produce, 600 t-shirts. So this is our direct labor cost. Okay, packing cost per t-shirt is 5 rupees. Okay, then packing cost is 5 rupees. Then total packing cost should be 5 rupees per t-shirt. Number of units produced is 600. It is 3000. I mean, there's a question in the chat box. Sir, can you explain the past part where output of 300 units? What happens to 9 excess units sold at 60? Uh, you are confused, I think. Don't think output of 300 units, right? Not units. Not units, Lamai. For you to deliver this t-shirt order, you need to buy fabric as an input. You need to buy fabric. ආට රෙදි ගන්න ඕන මේ ෂර්ට් මහන්න. හරි මේ ෂර්ට් එක ගන්න රෙදි ගන්න ඕන. ඒතකොට රෙදි වල අවශ්‍යතාවය කීයද? රෙදි වල අවශ්‍යතාවය එක t-shirt එකකට 0.46 per unit of t-shirt fabric requirement is 0.46 meters. එතකොට 600 මහන්න ඔයාලා ගන්න ඕන 600 මහන්න ගන්න ඕන this times this much of raw material. එතකොට raw material meter approximately meter 276ක් t-shirt වලට directly include වෙන්න ඕන. නැත්තම් ඒ t-shirt එකක් පොඩි එකක් ලොකුයි පැත්තක් නැති වෙයි right. So t-shirt 600ට include වෙන්න ඕන according to our standard. These are production standard. According to the requirement of the customer, we have estimated 0.46 meters is required. So accordingly, for you to deliver these 600 t-shirts, you must use 276 meters of fabric. ඉතින් අපි මේ ගානම ටක්කෙට අරගෙන කඩේට ගිහලා සීනි කිරනවා වගේ හරියට මට දෙන්න මුදලාදී මීටර් 276කුත් නේ 275 දශම ගානක්යි 276ක් නම් මේ 276ක් හරියටම මේ 275 ගන්න බෑ සීනි ගන්නවා වගේ තේ කුඩු ගන්නවා වගේ කිරලා නීට් එකට ගන්න බෑ මොකද සප්ලයිගේ කන්ඩිෂන්ස් තියෙනවා supply is a wholesaler මේ පොඩි පොඩි ගණන් මන දෙන්නේ නැහැ මෙයා right well known manufacturer කෙනෙක් ඒකට යාගේ relationship නා right the supply condition එක තමයි ගන්නවා නම් 100 pieces තුනක් 100 pieces වලින් ගන්න එහෙනම් 276 අපිට ගන්න බෑ. අනික 276 අපිට ප්‍රමාණවත් නෑ. හේතුව තමයි අපි 276 ගෙනල්ලා production process එකට include කළොත් production process එකට input කළොත් වෙනදී මම ඔයාලට කීවා. අපි input කළොත් production process එකට this much of fabric then අපි දන්නවනේ input වලින් 5% subject to normal loss. Right? 5% is normal loss. 5%, let's say normal loss of 5% applicable. Normal loss of 5% is applicable. Input මෙච්චරක් දැම්මොත් මෙයාගෙන් මෙයා කෙලින්ම අපේ cutting section එකේ කෑලි වලට කියන්නේ අපේ cutting wastage වලට අපි යනවා කියලාද that is common to all the industry, all the manufacturers. So it is subject to 5%, making 5%. Api minus lindama minus may again multiplied by 0.05. So this much of normal loss will be there. This much of normal loss will be there. So accordingly, actual quantity would be less than that. Would be definitely less than this. So accordingly, this equal this plus this, because this is a minus figure, right? So you will only use for your manufacturing process 262 accordingly. 276 fabric is not adequate. Right? After the normal loss, 276 should be there. So this should be after the normal loss. After the normal loss. Now before normal loss, how many, right? How much of fabric we should use? එමනම් 76ක් after normal loss තියෙනවා. මෙයා කීයද? මෙයා 95% වෙනවනම් මෙයා ඉතිරිලා තියෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් 0.05 sorry 0.95 වලින් බෙදලා එහෙම නැත්නම් 95න් බෙදලා 100න් වැඩි කරපුවාම අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් required amount එක. එහෙනම් අපිට approximately 291 units of meters of fabric should be purchased. ඒ අනුව අපිට 291ක් fabric ගන්න ඕන meters. අන්න එහෙම තමයි අපේ production process එකට fabric requirement එක අපි decide කරනවා. පැහැදිලිද? ඒ අනුව අපේ input එකෙන් වෙන්න ඕන 291ක් decimal places ගැටලුවක් තියෙයි approximate, right? approximately මෙච්චරක් අපි ගන්නවා. right. ඊළඟ දේ තමයි this the right requirement. Assuming our operations will operate subject to the normal efficiency level and subject to normal losses, then if you have 291 units, then there will be a normal loss. If you introduce this amount to the manufacturing process, then there will be a normal loss of 0.05. Okay, so we'll make it approximately 15%, 15 units normal loss. Then the units to be used for the output will be this minus this. Then we got our target. We can effectively use 276 units to produce the t-shirts. The makeup is then mahama arakina standard ගන්නවා මෙච්චර fabric එකක් divide කරන්න 0.46 වලින් එවිට t-shirt 600 හැදෙනවා. එහෙනම් දැන් මේවා ඔක්කොම reconcile. Okay, and I think you can understand how 291 comes. Hari. But the problems, you can't buy 291 quantity of fabric. අර කලින් කියවගේ මේ වගේ පොඩ කිරලා මැනලා ගන්න බෑ. supply ඉන්න busy schedules එක යාලා මේ CM length එකකින් piece එකකින් 91ක් කපලා ගියම ඉතුරු 9 මෙයාට රිටේල් කරන්න බැරි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So that is the supply addition we can't argue. Supply has a condition. buy කරනවා නම් fabric ගන්න ඕනේ 100 meters quantities වලින්. එහෙනම් අපිට 291 satisfy ගන්න වෙනවා කොච්චරද meter 300. You must buy 300 meters according to supply's terms and conditions. You buy this much, consume this much, there will be a remaining 9 meters. That 9 meters, right? You need to sell from under administrative decisions or any other. You need to take a decisions to dispose that 300. That is nothing to do with this job cost. Actually, in real life, that cost will be considered by the manufacturer, but that cost should not be included here. If you include in the job account, your job, the job cost will be overstated. Job cost එක වැඩි වෙනවා. Job cost එක වැඩි වුණාම මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඒ price එක වැඩි වෙනවා. Price එක වැඩි වුණාම ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට competitively price කරන්න බැරි වෙනවා. හිතන්න බලන්න. මේ same order එක වෙන manufacturer කෙනෙක් ගෙන් manufacture කරන්න ගියාම හිතමු due to some other reason, right? That particular manufacturer had this fabric quantity in his warehouse. Then he will use only 291. And for that particular manufacturer, there is no sale of additional 9 meters. You sell this additional, you are compelled to buy 300 and sell additional 900 due to, right, the relationship or due to the supply condition, right? There's a loss of 9, right? There's a loss. What is the loss? Additional meters. Fabric purchase, fabric purchase, fabric purchase, according to supply condition. To comply with the supply condition, we compelled to purchase 300 meters. Fabric consume 291. So accordingly, unused fabric, unused fabric, unused fabric, the difference between these two. I'll take different plus because it's a minus figure. So unused material fabric is 9 meters. This 9 meters should be disposed. Right? May 9 meters of cost 9 meters of cost 700 gani may 9 meters full of cost 9 meters of cost now I 5,600 5,600 sorry now I had to 6,300 then these are cost but if you dispose you are right you are required to dispose these 600 rupees each so this is the cost and this is what you can recover 9 times this 5,400 then there's a loss of 900. This is our cost. The revenue, cost exceeds the revenue. Is the revenue, this is the cost. So 900 rupee loss is there. That loss should be covered from your profit. Right? Don't think this loss should be taken here. Right? Then what if you had, let's say, you purchase 350 මෙයා හිතමු සප්ලයි කන්ඩිෂන් එක ළමයි හිතන්න must be purchasing 200 මේ quantities කියලා 200 මේ pieces කියලා එහෙනම් you are compelled to purchase 400 එහෙනම් 400 ගන්නවා 400 ගත්තාම අපේ purchase කරලා තියෙන්නේ 400 එහෙනම් unused වෙනවා කීයද 109ක් unused වෙනවා එතකොට this much of loss is there are you going to incur this loss to the manufacturer client account no hari it's unused එක මෙතන 9 නිසා වල හිතන්න පුළුවන් මේක ඇස්සේ ගහලා කස්ටමර් එකේ කවර් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා but right it is against the theory practically manufacture කරන්න එක තමයි right ඉතිරි වෙන එක කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ ඒකේ cost එකක් cover කරනවා හැබැයි ඒකේ cost එක මෙයාගේ cover කරලා මේ දාන්න පුළුවන් නමුත් එහෙම cost එක මේකට දැම්මොත් වෙන ළමයි ඔයාලගේ margin එක උඩ යනවා එතකොට manufacturing cost එක උඩ යනවා. එතකොට මේ ඔයාලගේ වෙච්ච මේ අතපසු වීමට value එකක් add නොවුණු සිද්ධියටත් ඔයාලා markup එකක් තියාගන්න. මොකද total cost එකෙන් අපි markup එක තියාගන්නේ. right? ඒ නිසා මේක cost එකක් තමයි මේක අපි cover කරාට අපේ profit එක. හරි. මේක මම හිතා තවදුරටත් ඔයාලා පැහැදිලි කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ විදියට චුට්ටක් ඉන්න right අපේ දැන් මේ fabric purchase කරන 300 meters මේ fabric purchase කරන 300 meters તો purchase cost එක වෙන්නේ කීයද purchase cost එක වෙන්නේ 300 meters අපි ගන්නවා රුපියල් 700 ගානේ this is our purchase cost fabric purchase cost මේ amount එකේ double එක මම ඔයාලට කිව්වා supplier credit එහෙම නැත්නම් bank credit අපි debit කරනවා raw material control account we can debit to the raw material control account ඒ account එක හදලා පෙන්නන්න මට this is the raw material control account ව්‍යාපාරයේ accounts තියෙනවා මේවට ඒතර මේ amount එක ගණනදී අපි කියමු raw material control account මේ හැම දෙයක්ම accounts වලින් ඉන්නේ right අපි accounting part එක emphasize කරන්නේ මේ management account වල right raw material account එක when you purchase this amount bank credit or supplier of creditor account. Credit, debit, let's say bank, if you have purchased cash basis, bank or supplier credit, raw material control account debit, මෙන්න මේ raw material quantity. මේ raw material quantity එකෙන් ළමයි අපි MRN එකක් දාලා material requisition note එකක් දාලා මේ තියෙන store එකේ raw material control account එකේ තියෙන this much of raw material, right? Store එකේ control 1, let me to format. Right. එතකොට warehouse එකේ මේ account එකේ තියෙනවා මේ job එක accept කරපන් this job manager, job supervisor will send MRN, material requisition note from the store. එයාගේ MRN එකෙන් දානවා මේ job එකට 291 fabric issue කරන්න කියලා. එවිට අපි මෙතන issue කරනවා let's say t-shirt job එකට t-shirt job account එකට අපි issue කරනවා raw material 291 අපි issue කරනවා at 700 මේක issue කරනවා. එතකොට දැන් වල පැහැදිලි raw material control account එක credit වෙනවා 291 meters of fabric at a rate of 700 rupees. මෙයා අපි මේකට credit කරනවා. ඒ credit වෙච්ච raw material තමයි මේ debit වෙන්නේ. දැන් මොකද වෙන්නේ raw material control account? There's a balance in the raw material control account. raw material control account එකේ balance එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ balance එක තමයි unused amount එක. මේ තියෙන balance. So balance එක 9 meters ඉදිරි 300. balance එක 6300 අර balance එක එනවා. so මේ balance එකට මොකද කරන්නේ? හරි. මේ balance එක අපි දැන් මේ stock එක අපි sell කරනවා. මේ stock එක sell කරද්දී මොකද double වෙන්නේ? මේක sale එකක් තමයි මේකත් purchase කරපු inventory එකක් අපි sell කරනවා. එතකොට අපි sell කරපුවාම මේ meter 9, right? අපි කියන්නේ sales නෙමෙයි, sales වචනේ සුදුසු නෑ. sales කියලා කියන්නේ revenue generated from our ordinary operation. This is not an ordinary operation. මේක අපි කියන්නේ dispose කිරීම. sell කිරීම වචනයට වඩා හොඳයි dispose කිරීම. අපි disposal of unused raw material or fabric. तो dispose කරනවා කියද්ද meter 9ක් 9 meters හැබැයි විකුණන රුපියල් 600 at 600 rupees. This is the disposal income. The cost of disposal fabric. මේ cost of disposed fabric අපි මෙතනින් අපි අඩු කරනවා. revenue එක අඩු කරනවා කියන්නේ revenue account එක debit කරනවා. එහෙනම් අපි මෙතන balance තියාගෙන අපි කියනවා disposal account එකට මාරු කරනවා. ඒ විදිහට මේ account එක වැහිලා යනවා. මේ මාරු කරපු disposal account එක debit වෙනවා. නිසා තමයි revenue එකකින් අපි අඩු කරලා දානවා cost of disposal. මෙන්න මේ ආකාරය. ඒ විදිහට තියෙනවා receipt එක මෙච්චරයි. මෙයා bank debit මේ cost මේ disposal account එක credit මෙයා debit වෙලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට එනවා loss එකක්. It is 900 rupees. මේ loss එක ගිහිල්ලා manufacturing account එක ඇතුළට ඔබන්න බෑ. Because it is nothing to do with the manufacturing. හැබැයි company practice එකක දාලා cost එක මේ up කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම management තියෙන පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මේක අපි දාන්නේ මේ business එකේ markup profit එකෙන් අපි මෙයා cover කරනවා. හරි. මේකේ markup එක මෙයා cover මේ loss එක අපේ මේකේ profit එකෙන් අපි charge කරනවා. එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි දුම් ගොඩක් ඉතිරි වුණා නම් ඒ සියලුම ඒවා මේකට දැම්මොත් ළමයි මේ ජොබ් පොස්ට් එක උඩ යනවනේ. හිතන්න දැන් ඔයාලා මේක දාන්නවා කියලා මෙතෙන්ද PL එක ඩෙබිට් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔයාලගේ PL එක ජොබ් ඩෙබිට් කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයාලගේ ජොබ් එකේ ප්‍රොෆිට් account ජොබ් එකේ PL එක ඩෙබිට් කරන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම නැත්නම් මැනුෆැක්චරින් account ඩෙබිට් කරන්න පුළුවන්. කොහෙන් හරි ඩෙබිට් වුණොත් බැලන්ස් එක. හැබැයි මේක ඩෙබිට් කරොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? මේ loss of disposal of fabric මෙතෙන්ද ඩෙබිට් කරනවා කියන්නේ 900ක් මෙතෙන්ද ඇඩ් වෙනවා නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මොකද වෙන්නේ? total cost එක උඩ යනවා. හරි total cost එක උඩ යනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ total cost එක මත මාකප් එකක් තියාගන්න. එතකොට ඔයාලා මෙන්න මේ loss එක මත මාකප් එකක් තියාගන්න. එහෙම වෙනවද නැද්ද? එහෙම වෙනවා. ඔයාලගේ loss එක මත ඔයාලා මාකප් එකක් තියාගන්න. ඒක efficient management එකක් නෙවෙයි. ඕක තමයි ලංකාවේ ඔය සිපෙට්කෝ එකේ දෙන පෙට්‍රල් වලටත් වෙන්නේ ඩීසල් වලට වෙන්නේ ඒකයි. හේතුව අපි විසින් අපේ තියෙන inefficiencies වල නිසා අපේ administrative matters නිසා අපි ඉන්කම් කරන සියලුම cost අපේ manufacturing cost එකට දානවා. ඒ තුලින් ඒ මත යාලා tax එක add කරනවා, profit margin add කරනවා. ඒ නිසා තමයි price මෙතනම් උඩ යන්නේ. ඒ නිසා inefficiencies cost of inefficiencies should not be incorporated to the manufacturing cost. That cost of inefficiencies or loss of inefficiencies should be covered from their profit. හිතන්න මෙතන මේ තිබුණා කියලා යුනිට් මේ විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් ඉතිරි වෙලා මෙතන යුනිට් මේ 50000 ඉතිරි වුණා කියලා හිතන්න. එහෙනම් ඒකේ loss එක ඔක්කොම මෙතෙන්ද දැම්මම මොකද වෙන්නේ? manufacturing cost එක උඩ යනවා. මේ ඉතිරි වීම මැනේජ්මන්ට් එකේ මොකක් නිසාද? ප්ලෑනින් වල අවුලක් නිසා, සප්ලයර්ස් ලා සමග negotiations වල අවුලක් නිසා, එවැනි දෙයක් නිසා සිදුවන දෙයක් නිසා මේ cost margin මේ job එකට කිසිදු value addition එකක් නැත. From all other cost elements there's a value addition to your product. There's a value addition to your product. Fabric, yes, there's a value addition. Labor, there are the people who uh, make these t-shirts and the packing costs to protect the t-shirts. So these are value adding activities. Right, no problem. You can add this cost to this cost account, job account, right? But not the uh, uh, disposal loss. Disposal loss එක adjust වෙනවා හරි බලන්න එපා. Making adjust වෙනවා, but you cannot include as a cost to the job account. Right. Then hours spent on manufacturing one t-shirt. එක t-shirt එකකට පැය මෙතන තියෙන මම හිතන්නේ මේ 0.5 hours යනවා. පැය භාගයක් වෙනවා එක t-shirt එකක් හදන්න. overhead absorption rate එක තමයි පැයකට 130යි. එහෙනම් අපි දාමු overhead absorption කෙටියෙන් දාන්න. overhead absorption එන්නේ කොහොමද? 600 units produce කරා එක unit එකකට 0.5 hours 0.5 hours rate එක කියන්නේ how many machine hours used, so labor hours used 300 labor hours. rate එක OAR එක 120. එහෙමනම් මෙතන equal 300 hours consumed and rate per hour is 120. So this is your overhead cost, right? So these are all the effective costs that added value to your job, right? So accordingly, end of the period, this is the total cost. This cost, this total job cost will be transferred to cost of sale account. Cost of sales account. Cost of sales account debit, job account credit. This much. Then this account is no balance. Account is closed. This is taken to the cost of sale account. Right. That's another part, right? We need to continue, right? We'll see what is the profit we made from this. Right, then sales income, sales revenue, sales revenue is how much? We have sold 600 t-shirts, sold each at 500 rupees. This is our total revenue. Minus cost of sales. This amount is my bank debit, right? Sales revenue account credit, and it is taken here, right? Bank debit, this account credit. Then cost of sale, job account credit. मैं job account एक credit करना, job account में credit तो लेकिन cost of sale लेकर. This job account credit and debit to our job P&L or the entity's P&L. Made job cost of sale account accumulate in our entity के main cost of sale account. If the business nature is to accept this kind of special orders and delivery of this kind of special orders, from each and every order account, cost of sale is accumulated. Revenue is generated. Revenue generated with the bank credit, revenue account credit. Let's assume this particular organization accept or process only one job, this job only. Then the sales revenue would be this much, and cost of sale account only you have this much of balance. This much of balance. Right? This is the cost of sale. Then the gross profit. Gross profit take a or table. This much of gross profit we have made for the period. From this gross profit, that loss to be covered. Loss from disposal of fabric or unused fabric. Unused fabric. Minus 900. Then we can say profit from the job. So this is your profit. Any question understood? Okay, thank you. Understood, right? Telling what I started to you. Okay. මේ ඇත්තටම මේ whole history එක පෙන්නලා දෙනවා නම් ඒ කියන්නේ අපි පැහැදිලි කරලා යනවා නම් ඒක පැහැදිලි. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ account මේවා ඉන්නේ කොහෙන්ද? right? මේ 370 වෙන්නේ කොහෙන්ද? අපි නිකන් debit කරනවා නෙවෙයි, right? ඒවා ඉන්නේ අපේ accounts වලින්. මේ ඉන්නේ අපේ raw material control account එක. raw material control account ඉන්නේ purchase. ඒතකොට account එක automatically balance එකක් ඇති වෙනවා. මේ තියෙන balance එක. මේ balance එක තමයි අපි dispose කරන්නේ. හරි. මෙහි balance එක තියලා මේකට loss කියලා දාන්න suitable නැහැ. හරි. මම හිතලා පැහැදිලි ඇති කියලා. Okay, right. අපි යමු අපේ ඊළඟ activity එකට. This is our second activity. Let me increase the font size. Okay, I think it is clear now. Color separation at down. This one particular job and this another one. Leave the other one. Satu pakat down. Okay. Right. So these are the information relating to 3 different jobs undertaken by the particular service center. Right. අපිට vehicle 3ක් service ලබා දීලා තියෙනවා. ඊට අදාළ job වලට අදාළ තොරතුරු තමයි අපිට දීලා තියෙන්නේ. Okay. So let's see how to find out the job cost. So this time I'm not going to prepare job accounts in the account format. Account formatting මම jobs account එකෙන් හදන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ඊ වෙනුවට අපි like okay අපි දාමු job එකට V1 V2 V3 right. So we'll just take all the costs incurred with respect to each and every job separately and add them together. Then we can identify the cost of each job and add the markup and determine the price. Okay. So let's have a look at all the information. Number of floor workers, man hours, service center එකේ ඉන්නවලා දන්නවා වාහනේට වතුර ගහන්න, pressure ගන්න එකකින් මේ clean කරන්න, interior clean කරන්න, wash කරන්න, ඒක පිහ දාන්න. For different activities මේ service center එක workers ලා ඉන්නවා. workers ලා යනවා කියද්දී පැය 13ක්. මේන් අදහස් කරන්නේ vehicle එකක් ගිහින් දැම්මම පස්සේ දවසකින් පස්සේ හම් වෙනවා කියන්නේ. හරි. එකම මොහොතේ එක්කෙනෙක් interior clean කරන්නේ අනෙත් එක්කෙනා පිටපැත්ත clean කරනවා. ඒතකොට parallelly labours පාවිච්චි කරනවා. එක මොහොතේ තුන් දෙනෙක් vehicle එකට attend වෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතකොට මේ ඇවිල්ලා man hours right labor hours right. ඒතකොට labor hours පැය දෙකක් ඕන සමහර විට හතර දිනක් එකතු වෙලා පැය 3කින් මේක ඉවර කරලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. හතර දිනක් හතර දිනක් පැය 12 යන්නේ. පැය 4ක ඉතිරි කරන්න පුළුවන් right. So you can understand what is meant by labor hours. 13 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours. Lubricant used, the lubricant quantity, right? Amount of lubricant used. Vehicle 1 එකට 3 liter, vehicle 2 4 liters, vehicle 3 6 liters. And the cost of lubricant use, right? Vehicle 1 cost per liter is 700. Vehicle 2 cost per liter is 900. Vehicle 3 cost per liter is 650. Sometimes students might be confused how this same lubricant cost is different for different vehicles. Reason my lubricants could be different for these different vehicles. Right, mobile තියනවා ඊට පස්සේ Caltex තියනවා right, Sipetco තියනවා. There are different right varieties of lubricants, and even under a particular brand there are different types of lubricants. එතන මේ ඇවිල්ලා different lubricants right. නැත්නම් කෙනෙක් හිතන්න පුළුවන් මේ fabric වගේ හරි එකම fabric එක පාවිච්චි කරන කොහොමද එකිනෙකට මීටරේ cost එක වෙනස් වෙන්නේ right. So lubricants, assume these are different types of lubricants. That's why 1 liter for vehicle 1, first vehicle 700, second vehicle liter cost 900, right? Then cost of parts replaced, maybe the right oil filter, air filter, or whatever the parts replaced as a result of this particular service provision. Vehicle 1 6,000, 2 3,000, 3 is 13,000. And supervisory timing, the supervisor allocation, time is spent by the supervisor to supervise this process. Vehicle 1 එකට පැය භාගයයි 30 minutes. Vehicle 2 එකට 1 hour supervision. Vehicle 3 එකට 2 hours supervision. That means supervision cost will be should be considered. Then cost of man hour, right? Floor workers like cost man hour එක 250. Overhead, other overhead per floor working hour is 8 rupees. Floor working hours වලට හැම වැඩ කරන working hour එකටම 8 rupees cost එකක් යනවා. ඕලම දැන් මේ service station එකේ වැඩ කරන labor hours ගානට right. labor hours වැඩි වෙනවා කියන්නේ ඒකේ overhead cost වැඩි වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right, it is up to the management. We cannot argue. Management has decided according to their past observation. For each and every additional work hour, each and every labor hour employee will result 80 rupee overhead cost. හැබැයි මෙතනින් අදහස් කරන ළමයි කරන්නේ නැහැ ළමයි individual labor කෙනෙක්ගේ labor hours වලට කියලා. මේ කියන්නේ factory run කරන පැය 10ක් factory run කරනවා. මෙච්චරක cost එකක් එනවා right. එහෙම නැත්නම් අර individual labors මත base වෙනත් පුළුවන් right. It is said labor hours වලට එක labor hourකට රුපියල් 80ක overhead cost එකක් තියෙනවා. ඊට අමතරව අපි assume කරමු මේ සුපර්වයිසර්ගේ cost එක මේ overhead cost එකේ නැහැ කියේ. හරි අද overhead cost කියද්දි මොකද සුපර්වයිසර්ගේ salary එකත් overhead cost එකේ කොටසක් වෙනවා. හරි මේ කම්පැනි මොකක් හරි පොලිසියක් නිසා supervisory cost has been separated from the overhead. So let's assume this supervisory cost is not included in the overhead absorption rate. Accordingly, supervisory salary or cost should also be separately absorbed to this production process or this job cost. Then the supervisory rate is calculated on 20 days per month. Per month. අපේ මාස් මේකේ additional information දීලා තියෙනවා සෑහෙන මහන්සිලා මොකද්ද month එකකට දවස් 20ක් වැඩ කරනවා කියලා හිතන්න. ඒ වගේම දවසකට පැය 5ක් වැඩ කරනවා කියලා හිතන්න කියලා තමයි කියලා තියෙන්නේ. So that we can develop our supervisory rate. And මේ පොඩි වෙනස කරලා B කියලා තියෙන එක මම මාක් කරලා right. Right. අපි supervisory rate එක හදමු 20 days per month 5 hours per day. එහෙමනම් number of supervisory hours employed is this much. 100 supervisory hours employed by the supervisor. Right? Supervisory hours. මෙතන ගමු. Supervisory hours, it is 100. Then cost. Supervision cost එක salary එක 80,000 rupees. Then hourly rate එක is accordingly 80,000 ගෙවුවා පැය 100කට. එමනම් පැයකට rate එක should be 800. 800 hourly rate supervision cost එක hourly rate එක 800. හරි අපි දැන් cost එක identify කරමු. So these are the information. First we'll take the direct labor cost. Direct labor cost or floor worker cost, right? Direct labor cost එක vehicle 1 එකට 13 hours at a rate of 250 rupees per hour. So this is the labor cost. This is the labor cost. Let me to format, select all, control 1, number formatting, minimize the decimals, thousands of separator minus figures. Okay, right. It looks nice now. Then I can copy these two other parts. That's the way I develop this formula. For vehicle 2, it is 3,150. Vehicle 3, it is 5,000. Vehicle 1 එකට මෙච්චරයි, labor cost එක 2 එකට මෙච්චරයි, 3 එකට මෙච්චරයි. Okay. Next one, cost of lubricant. Cost of lubricant. Liters used 3 and cost per liter is this much. So accordingly, it is very easy. For this much of liters multiplied, this is the cost per liter. And you can copy this to other vehicles. Right? You can see vehicle number 2, 900 rupees times 4. Now after this side, 3,600. Are here 650ව 6ක් 606ක් 3600 50ක් 300 390ක් correct, right? Then lubricant cost considered, cost of parts, right? Cost of parts used or consumed is directly given. You can just use this and copy it to other parts. Okay. What else? Cost of pass considered. Supervisory cost, yes. Supervisory cost equal. This is the number of hours used. මෙතන 0.5 තියෙන්නේ. නමුත් Excel identify කරන 0.5 කියලා බලමු. මෙන්න supervisor hours ගාන වැඩි කිරීම multiply ඔයාලා confusion එක තමයි හදලා ඉන්නවා. මෙතන අපි decimal නැති කරන නිසා මෙයා 0.5 එක 1 වලට right round up වෙලා තියෙනවා. Right, now it's correct. Supervisor cost එක මෙයාට පැය භාගයයි. Okay, multiplied by rate per hour. එහෙනම් කීයද පැයකට 800 cost එකක් තියෙනවා. පැය භාගයක් පාවිච්චි කරනම් රුපියල් 400 cost එකක් බාර ගන්න ඕන job number 1 vehicle number 1 එක. මම මේ ෆෝම් එක ඩ්‍රැග් කරනවා අනිත් පැත්තට ඩ්‍රැග් කරද්දී මෙයා එහෙම දුවනවා. ඒක නවත්තන්න මම function F4 දාලා එයා fix කරනවා. ඒක Excel right management accounting නෙවෙයි. දැන් මට පුළුවන් මෙයා අනිත් පැත්තට copy කරන්න. අනිත් accordingly should be 800,600. Yes, 800,600. මේ ෆෝම් එක ළමයි මෙයාට copy කරද්දී මෙයා දුවන්නේ නැහැ fix කරපු නිසා. හැබැයි මෙයා relative නිසා මෙයා මේ පැත්තට හදාගෙන අපිට calculation දෙනවා. ඒ ගැන ඉතින් පොඩි දුවා management accounting නෙවෙයි ඒක ලැබලයි. supervisory cost කොහොමද අරන් තියෙන්නේ? පැය භාගෙ වැඩි කිරීම 800 400 පැය වැඩි කිරීම පැයකට රේට් 800යි පැය දෙකට 1600යි හරි. Any other cost? Supervisory cost considered. Then overhead cost, other overhead costs is there. Other overhead costs. Other overhead cost is 80 rupees per labor hour. 8 rupees per labor hour. This is the labor hour. Vehicle 1 eකට we have used 13 hours of labor. Then every labor hour, this much of overhead cost should be incurred. Right? හැම labor hour එකකටම මේ තරම් overhead cost එකක් යනවා. ඒ labors ලා වැඩිපුර වැඩ කරනවා කියන්නේ යාළගේ machines වැඩිපුර පාවිච්චි කරනවා යාළා වෙනින් අපේ cost එක දරනවා ඒ නිසා overhead cost එක labor සමග තමයි මේ ව්‍යාපාරය යනවා මේ relate වෙන්නේ right cause and effect relationship එක දානවා හරි එහෙනම් අපි බලමු overhead cost absorption එක මෙන්න predetermined rate එක මෙන්න rate එකේ base එකේ actual figure එක හැම විටම overhead cost absorb කරන්නේ අපේ rate එකේ base එකේ actual information එකක් තමයි මේ rate එකේ base එක තමයි labor hour මේ rate එකේ base එක තමයි work hours ගන්න මේ rate එකේ මේ OER එකේ base එක work hours ගන්න මේ ව්‍යාපාරය ආරම්භයේදී වැඩ කරන පැය ගන්න predict කරන්න නැති වැඩ කරන cost එක predict කරන්න නැති overhead cost එක predict කරන්න නැති budgeted overhead cost එකෙන් budgeted labor hours වලින් බෙදලා මේ rate එක predetermine එකක් තිබෙනවා when it comes to absorb තමයි manufacturing cost එකට product එකට absorb කරාදී හැම විටම rate එක apply කරන්න ඕනේ ඒ rate එකේ base එකේ actual information එකක් මේ තියෙන actual information එන් අපි absorb කරමු vehicle 1 එකේ 13 hours පැහැදිලි multiply මෙන්න මේ 80 rupees per hour මම මේ ෆෝම් එක අර පැත්තට ඩ්‍රැග් කරන්න තියෙන නිසා මම මේකට මේ 80 බ්ලොක් කරනවා අනෙක් පැත්තට කොපි වෙද්දී එහෙම දුවන්නේ නැති වෙන්නේ ඒක ඔයාලට පොළි වෙන්න එපා හරි මෙන්න යනවා overhead cost එක දැන් මට පුළුවන් මේ පැත්තට drag කරන්න ඒවා automatically compute වෙනවා. හරි ඔයාලා පැහැදිලි ඇති 20 වැඩි කිරීම 800 1600 හරි. That's all. This represent total cost. Right? Total cost. Total cost එක මම ගිහිල්ලා all take දාපු කරේනවා. මේක මේ පැත්තට අපි පුළුවන් copy කරන්න. So this is our total cost. The company's policy. Right? Profit markup සාමාන්‍යව දන්නා මාකප් කියලා කියන්නේ cost එක බේස් කරලා කම්පියුට් කරන එක. මාර්ජින් කියන්නේ price එක බේස් කරලා මේ කියන මේ ratio එක. මාකප් කියලා කියන්නේ cost එකෙන් percentage එක. මේකේ percentage එක අප හොයාගන්න බෑ. Let's assume markup එක company policy 25% කියලා. Let's assume 25% markup is there. right එහෙමනම් අපි add කරනවා මෙයාට අපි markup එකක් add කරනවා times 0.25. So this is the markup to keep for each job. Then this is the service invoice price. Right. Finish. අපි අපි ඉතර දාමු කලයි. That's it. Okay, so we have one more activity that is, I think, very relevant for you. I know you all are accounting students, so this activity is about your internship. Right? So accordingly, I'm not going to take too right time to explain this, but I will discuss this example next week. Right? 1 minute. It's similar to vehicle 1, vehicle 2, vehicle 3. Instead of vehicle, we have audit engagement. ABC PLC, we have audit assignment engagement. PQR PLC, we have accepted particular assignment audit engagement. So these are different jobs, and these are the information. Based on this information, I think you can easily compute the cost of each audit assignment. Okay, answer මම next week අපි explain කරන්න. I think අපේ අදට session එක නවත්තනවා. Now time is 4:54. Okay ළමා. එන්නම් එක try කරන්න. එක try කරලා දැන බොහොම ලේසි ගානක්. නමුත් අපි answer කර මම පෙන්නන්නම්. මම explain කරන්න next week එකේදී. එහෙමනම් අපි අදට session එක නවත්තනවා. මේ video recording එක මම upload කරන්න ලබා දෙන්න ජනිත් මේක අප්ලෝඩ් කරයි. හරි. first video recording එකේ පොඩි ගැටලුවක් තමයි ඒක බලන්නම් ඒක මේ process එකේදී current එක ගියා. මට process එක පොඩි time එකක් යනවා. ඒක ආපහු process කරන්න බලන්න ඕන. මේ video එකේ නම් ඉස්සරහ videos වලට tutorials යටතේ upload වෙයි. But sir, can you please show again previous? Can you please tell me what is required? What you need to explain me again? ඔයාලා මම පොඩ්ඩක් ඒ ස්ටුඩන්ට් මේ chat box එකේ දාන message එක මොකද්ද හැදිලි දාන්න ඕන කියලා මේකේ. ඔව් පොඩ්ඩක් message එක දාන්න පුළුවන් මේ ඒ ස්ටුඩන්ට්. If you can ask, or you can just, so I want to see the answer. Okay, right. You want to see the answer, right? So this is the answer, right? Okay. Okay, accordingly, if you take any screenshots with your mobile phone, right? So you can have it. Right, understood. Okay, so now it's okay. Okay, we'll meet next Friday. Okay, thank you very much, and we'll wind up the session.